What's up guys, I'm Nathan and in this video, as promised, I'm going to be doing the revamped tier list for Roblox All-Star Tower Defense. A lot of people did not agree with my previous one, but then again keep in mind I only had about half an hour to analyze each character, but now I have analyzed them properly and most of you should agree with this one. But if you do not, then just let me know what you don't agree with in the comments so either I can explain or I can make changes. Also, please try to avoid skipping to the end, but if you want to skip to the end, do that, and if you see something that you don't agree with, just rewind to the part where I explain the character, because otherwise you might not even see my explanation and say that this is bad. But anyways guys, just another disclaimer, since I have not included like the really old characters, if you will notice I have not included characters like Yoshikage Kira, Megumin, Zenitsu, Tanjiro, etc., because these are really old, outdated characters, so I've not included them, and therefore I will be very strict because we cannot have the D tier completely empty now, can we? So guys, S tier is basically going to have the meta units for infinite mode and story mode. A tier is going to have sort of the meta starter units for like extreme mode and stuff, because usually the first few waves are really hard on those. So A tier is also going to be very useful units, and it's also going to include other characters that are really close to being the meta but not quite cutting it. B tier is going to be good units. C tier is kind of average. D tier is somewhat bad with like no redeeming qualities. Usopp will be C tier because his range is good. Netero is S tier because, well, dude, his cone AoE is just so thick. It's literally 170 degrees, so that's like Gogeta level with that insane damage, which is like better than Kuma. Those people that are saying he's just challenging Kuma, well, no, he literally destroys Kuma. The only thing that Kuma is better than him for is, of course, for story and trial mode, because this dude is expensive as heck. Armin is A tier just because he's sort of the meta grinding unit right now, because his like displayed damage, even though his DPS is not great, his displayed damage is the highest. So if you're AFK grinding for damage, then Armin is actually the best character. Blackbeard 6 star is S tier, obviously. Blackbeard 5 star has no redeeming qualities. Bulma is S tier, obviously. Roy Mustang is a meta starter unit and definitely really good for story as well, so he's A tier. Kaido, I mean, his only redeeming quality is the fact that he's hybrid. Sanemi, I mean, he's kinda cheap. Darui, same thing. Rengoku is going to be A tier, he's solid but definitely not S tier, I'm just saying. Rengoku 5 star will probably be B tier because he's sort of good as a starter unit, at least to kill bosses. Gon 5 star will be C tier because like his damage is the same as your average character. In fact, it's lesser and he costs like 40k, so please do not use this guy. Then Aladdin will be C tier because he's one of the cheapest characters. Gilgamesh top A tier because he is again a meta starter unit. Now a lot of people are saying he should be S, and he has been used in wave 75 runs, but still, I mean, now we have Netero, who's like very obviously going to be an infinite mode meta. So who exactly are you going to replace? Obviously you will replace the worst character on the team, which will be Gilgamesh, because he can't hit air and he's only single target. I'm not saying he's bad, I'm just saying that he will not be meta anymore, in my opinion. Zoro A tier because, I mean, he's basically another version of Trunks and Gohan. Like, Gohan was ever so slightly better than Trunks that it didn't even matter, and now Zoro is just ever so slightly better than Gohan, so it does not even matter that much. Golden Frieza, another thing where a lot of people were hating on me last time. I will not change it. I will still put him in B tier. However, with his orb, this is not including his orb, with his orb he will be A tier. Without his orb, B tier. So do not hate on me on this thing. I have clarified it in this video. Then Warhammer Titan is useless as heck. Hollow Ichigo B tier. Jiraiya A tier, he is no longer meta because Silva definitely kills him. Merlin, another A tier because, I mean, I'm not saying he's bad, but he is only buffing your range by 35%. However, like Blackbeard is another support, but he's slowing down by 50%, and Irwin is buffing damage by 200%. So like Merlin's definitely the best 4-star. If you're starting out in the game, this is like an S tier for you, but otherwise no, he is going to be A tier. Jotaro is the meta time stopper for story mode, so S tier. Jotaro 5-star is A tier just because, well, I mean he is also a time stopper but not as good as the meta. Then Light Yagami A tier because like he's still pretty solid, and with Merlin's buff, like bro, his range goes crazy. He's basically gonna have global range on every map, so that's actually really solid, the combo. Gohan is going to be another A tier because if you're putting Zoro in A tier, Gohan is also A tier because they're so similar. Then this guy, Goku Black, will be C tier. He cannot be higher because there's nothing that great about him. Then we have Sasuke, another C tier because, I mean, he is cheap, so that's why. Then Nami, C tier, I mean, she gives money, but it's not really enough. Broly, A tier because, I mean, he is slowly getting a little more outdated, but he is still very solid for like damage grinding. Irwin, obviously S tier. Gojo is S tier because he is sort of the meta time stopper for infinite mode, just because of the fact that his time stop duration is longer. Yuno will be C tier because, well, yeah, I mean, there's not that much great about him. For this guy, Minato, he will be B tier now because, well, yeah, he's definitely getting outdated. Then Maka will be A tier because her damage is just insane. Silva will be another A tier. I mean, he would be a meta unit, like he would have replaced Kuma if his AoE circle would be bigger, but the problem is his AoE circle is just smaller than Kuma, and that is why it's not going to be better. But those of you who are trying to compare Jiraiya with Silva, Silva is just much better because, well, he can hit airs, and yeah, I mean, I don't really need to explain myself further. Even the DPS is higher, so why would you even think that Jiraiya is better? Then Akaza, D tier because there's no really redeeming qualities, nothing great, nothing special about him whatsoever. Joseph Joestar, A tier because the people that are hating on his AoE cone, now I know it's not a great AoE cone, but AoE cone is still going to be better than splash AoE because, well, the AoE circle is just going to hit a small area in front, while AoE cone, I mean, even if it's that thin, it's still gonna hit everything in front. It's just that it would be a little harder to find a placement, but still, I will definitely rate him a solid A tier. The only drawback is, of course, the thin AoE cone, and of course the fact that he cannot hit airs. Escanor, another A tier. I mean, he is no longer meta, I would not say that. Obito, probably C tier. Emi, probably B tier, because even though his ability is there, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but still, it's not that much damage. Luffy, 4th gear, probably like bottom C tier. Nothing great about him, but at least his range is decent. Luffy, Snake Man will be high A tier. I mean, he is no longer meta, even though he might have been used before. His range, like I've said constantly, is a double-edged sword. There's barely any placements for him, and his AoE cone is also pretty thin. Ace will be D tier, nothing redeeming about him. He's single target, and that's just bad. Even Mob Psycho, like his SPA and his damage and his cost just do not mix whatsoever. Giorno, probably C tier. Trunks, another A tier because like these three units are very similar. Then Boo will be a solid B tier because he's hybrid. Natsu, another B tier because of that burn and that thick AoE cone. Nagato because he's hybrid and also has a pretty thick AoE cone. Then this guy, Coyote Stark, C tier. Kuma will still be S tier but a little shakier because he has been made a little more expensive, but still, for story mode, trial mode, he's still like overkill for some of the new extreme modes even. Overhaul, probably another C tier. Magellan, B tier because at least he slows down enemies. Whitebeard, probably C tier. I mean, I did put him in D tier last time, but that was wrong. I mean, he's not that bad. because at least he has the tsunamis. Then Whis will be like A tier just because for PvP, guys. Do not get mad at me. I am clarifying it right now. Just for PvP. Then this guy, Meliodas, he's super cheap, but one of those really low range characters, which is what messes him up a little, but still pretty solid. Dio will be like a little higher than Jotaro because he only needs 2 upgrades to get his the time stop. 2 or 3 upgrades, I think. Mihawk will be probably like bottom of B tier because he's getting outdated big time. Rukia will be A tier because if ever we get a new slot, her freezing will be very, very helpful. Byakuya would probably be like C tier. I mean, this dude, it's not much of a question. Meta Knight is obviously S tier. Escanor 4 stars, obviously S tier because they're both money generators. And we have a duplicate here. Don't even talk about it. Like, why is it not possible to delete images in this tier list? I don't even know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the revamped tier list for Roblox All-Star Tower Defense. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya!